Okay. Okay, it's 7 o'clock and this meeting will officially start. I want to welcome everyone and Jane, would you read the open public statement, please?
Actually, there was a good meeting of the Bedminster Township Board of Health, vertical needs and alternatives for all departments, and put the township municipal building, 1 Mill Lane, Bedminster, New Jersey, on January 20th, 2020.
Okay, thank you. This evening we have two applications and we're going to look at two resolutions. The first application will be Lot 21, Lot 29. This is 155 Old Farm Road. It's the Peterman application. We have Mr. Parker, who really doesn't need an introduction, but you're required by Chairman Tim insists on an introduction.
No problem. My name is Steve Parker. I am the engineer for the project this evening. In back of me, behind me, is the owner, Mr. Peterman, and his builder, Mr. Alzados, who are just here to observe the proceedings. Welcome, and answer any questions that I may not be able to. But I'll go ahead and describe what we're here for, Mr. Chairman. This is an application for an expansion to an existing system, existing septic system. And what's generating that requirement is it's the existing house on the property. This system actually, let me back up a little bit of history. This system was approved by this board in 2010 as an alteration. And at that time, there was a new septic system that was installed. The system was designed for a 4-bedroom home with a separate 2-bedroom apartment. The apartment is attached to the home, and you can see on the plan view there, it's just kind of off to one side. It's one separate wing. And so the design was for a total of 6 bedrooms. What we're proposing this evening is an expansion to that system because they want to reconfigure the bedrooms in the house. They basically want to make the house a 5-bedroom house and the apartment a 1-bedroom apartment. Now, when we do the flow calculations in accordance with the state's health code, that results in an increase in wastewater flow of 150 gallons per day. And the reason for that is because the flow rate from a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom apartment is the same. It's 350 gallons per day. So even though we're reducing the apartment from 2 bedrooms to 1 bedroom, the design flow is still 350 gallons per day. And so what's happening is the house is going from 4 bedrooms to 5 bedrooms. So that requires an increase in a couple of things, in the size of the septic tanks, requires an increase in the size of the pump tank, which is part of this, and also the field itself. So that's what we're here for this evening. We're here to request approval for the expansion to that system to accommodate the additional flow. There's not, like I said, there's not an increase in the number of total bedrooms in the property, but because of the way it's calculated in accordance with the state health code, that results in an increase of about 150 gallons per day. And so we need to make those components bigger. So what we're doing is the field is getting bigger. It's getting about 6 feet wider than what it is right now. And right now there are 2 septic tanks and a pump tank on the property. The 2 septic tanks are 1,500 gallons each, and the pump tank I think is 1,750. So what's going to happen is the existing pump tank is going to be converted to a septic tank. So there will be 3 septic tanks out there, 2 1,500s and then the 1,750. And then we're going to add a new pump tank, which is 2,000 gallons, and that will meet the requirements of the code for the size of the pump tank and the size of the septic tank in accordance with Bedminster requirements. So that's really all it is. It's not a complicated application. It just requires a little explanation as to why we're here for that. So what we did was, we wanted to just verify a couple things. The field is functioning, so we went out and took a look at that. And also we did an additional test just recently, about a month or 2 ago. right near where we're doing the expansion to the field, again, just to verify the soil conditions out there. And what we found was that they are very similar to what we had the first time, and they're consistent with, with the design that was done, so that the expansion would be appropriate and would operate fine. So Mr. Kaczynski prepared a letter, and we can go over that. The letter is dated September 25th of 2023, and the first paragraph just kind of goes and describes, I think what I just said, basically the reason we're here, it's an expansion. And then the first comment says testimony should be provided to confirm the existing system is functioning as designed. It is. I was on the property, looked at it and observed that it was functioning properly. No evidence of any surfacing effluent. There's no history of a backup or anything like that. So I can certainly say that it is functioning as designed. Second comment is regarding the soil types on the property. It's listed in the soil survey as a Roland silt loam. And then Mr. Kaczynski goes on to say that they're classified in the survey as having severe constraints for septic system construction due to seasonally high water table 1 to 3 feet below ground surface, and frequent surface flooding. So we didn't find those conditions. I think the soils that we did find are not typical of the Roland series. So I think I would say that probably that is, soil surveys are a good generalization, and they're used for that purpose, but we didn't find that in the investigations that we did. We did find groundwater, I think somewhere around 4 feet or so in the soil test done in 2010 and the one we just did. So they're consistent. The system is a raised or mounted system to address that, and so it meets all the requirements for separation and so on. Comment number 3 says wet season groundwater monitoring results required by ordinance were not received with the application. This information must be provided, or a waiver must be requested by the applicant. We are requesting a waiver from that. Again, I think the requirement is due to the classification from the soil survey. We didn't find that to be the case, so we don't feel that's necessary in this case. And the fact that the system has been designed to accommodate the groundwater levels that we did observe out there. So that's a waiver request that we have this evening. Comment number 4 says testimony must be provided regarding presence of flood hazard areas that may affect the system. And we checked the flood insurance rate maps from FEMA website and other DEP maps, and there are no flood zones on the property in the area of the field. So that, don't believe that will be a problem or an issue at all. Comment number 5, the application form is not endorsed by the applicant. We can do that. We'll get that signed and submitted back to the board. Comment number 6 is a typographical error on our plans, which we'll correct. And same thing. Well, comment number 7 is just, it says the plan must detail the installation of an effluent filter and baffle in the existing 1,700 gallon tank. Certainly agree with that. That's important. We'll change. We'll add that note to the plans. So that's really all it is. It's a relatively simple application for an expansion. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Normally, when technically a bedroom is added, we're look at it a little skeptically. However, this system has been operating since 2010. It's obviously or reportedly has no problems, and there's some adjustment going on with the residents that put it under the classification of not needing expansion to the septic system. We're adding an extra tank, a 2,000 gallon tank, which is a good thing. So I think in that respect, I feel very comfortable with it. The wet season groundwater monitoring, again, it was double problems, and we were challenging the ability of the property to support another source of increased flow. We really concerned that it wasn't supported by groundwater. However, again, in this case, we have a functioning system. Looks good. And I personally see no reason to want to look at or need to look at whether there's a groundwater or not results. That being said, I'll open it up to board members. See what you think of it.
One question. But is there any, is it usual to include an existing, or is this something to do with?
No, it's because really the pump tank is just a septic tank that has a pump installed in it. So the refit is what Mr. Kaczynski's comment number 7 is, to make sure that there's a baffle and an effluent filter installed in there. That's the only difference, because, you know, there's the line that goes out of the pump tank is the force main line. It's under pressure, it's a pressurized line. And so the baffle has been removed from that tank. But no, so the pump will be removed from the existing pump tank, and then it'll be fitted with a baffle and an effluent filter, and then the new pump tank will be installed.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so let's go to the waiver. That's number 3. And the motion that we provide a waiver for the groundwater monitoring. Move it. Aye. Aye. The only thing left is to approve the application and entertain a motion to do that.
If I could just make one request, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
The owner would like to be able to proceed with getting a building permit for the work to the house. If we get an approval tonight from the board, Mr. Beck, how does that work as far as, is there a delay? Can they go ahead and start working tomorrow, or?
Well, yeah. It depends on the comfort level, I think, of the township engineer. As long as the waiver is granted and everything is, plans are modified or conform to what was said today, I mean, I still think that we probably have to have a revised.
Yeah, we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to do tomorrow.
Yeah. Just for clarity, since we probably, I will comment, it's the number 6, the volume labeling of pump tank. So what is your? Okay. And so what is the correction, just so that when Steve submits the new one, just make sure it's going to be an accurate turnaround. 1650. Is that the convertible? That, okay, so that becomes 1750? Right. Okay. And you might as well, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to revise it,
Oh, yeah.
turn around, get it correct.
Absolutely.
And Joe and I, sure,
Yep.
it's not going to be a problem.
I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, that's okay. Janine, you need to vote now for the.
I mean, wasn't it a first or second?
Motion?
Did you get it?
Aye.
Bauer? Aye. Berger? Chair?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank the applicants for attending. Steve, 30-second break there and put them to work again.
Everybody wants to go home early tonight.
Get to it.
Yeah, everybody wants to,
Get to
well,
it,
the
we wanna
president
go
is
home.
on tonight.
Yeah.
So he wants to listen to it.
I think the Phillies are on tonight too. I don't know.
Probably more.
Yeah, definitely,
They're pushed.
okay, our second application is at 200 Cedar Ridge Lane, lot 41, lot 33.01. Elna Har. It's a alteration. Well, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Steve Parker. I'm the engineer for the project this evening, and this application is for an alteration with no expansion. It's a property on Cedar Ridge Road, and there's actually two separate dwelling units or residences on the property. Both of the septic systems are malfunctioning and will be replaced as part of the project. And although it's a large lot, there are wetlands out on the property, and there are other constraints just with the soil conditions that are there. Although it looks like there's a lot of room, there's not as much as it appears, just from the standpoint of when we went out there to do the testing, there were some really wet areas on the property where the groundwater is high, and certainly that's close to the wetland areas. So we did perform tests and we got successful ability tests. We did pit bail tests, and they worked out great. The rates are very high, they're very acceptable. But we did encounter shallow groundwater, as evidenced by the modeling that we saw there. And that was at a depth of, I think, 8 or 9 inches, I think was the shallowest that we encountered out there. And so the system does include the use of advanced treatment units for both the main house and for the cottage as well. And that, is done just to help reduce the height of the mound that's out there and to provide a higher level of treatment because of the high evidence of groundwater that we did observe there. It's basically two separate septic systems. One is for a 4-bedroom house, one's for the 2-bedroom cottage. There is no expansion that's being proposed because we can't. If the soil conditions don't meet what the state health code requires, then an expansion to those homes that would cause an increase in wastewater flow is not permitted. So other than that, they're pretty straightforward systems. We did testing for a reserve area for both systems. We did keep the existing well that's out there. All of the tanks for the main house are being replaced with new tanks, and the tanks for the cottage are going to remain because those were relatively new. I think there was this application was before the board, I think maybe 15 or so years ago. Not by us, but by someone else. So they're fairly new, they're in decent shape, and we're going to keep those, but we're going to add the advanced treatment unit, and then that will pump it up to the field that's being constructed. So Mr. Kaczynski prepared a letter, a review letter dated October 9th, and I'll just go through that and each one of those points. And a lot of them, like you'll see, are typographical errors that will correct on revised plans. But I think the first comment, I think we did address that, the signature on Form 1. If not, we'll get that to you. Yeah, so that'll get over. The second comment is about the testing. Suitable soils could not be identified. We did look around the property to find other areas. You can see we dug soil out up to the the left side of the house, the soil there was even worse. We had shallow refusal on massive rock. And then the other areas that we looked at were wetter. So this is the best spot. It's the most suitable location on the lot for construction of the system. And we did find the best, good results other than the high groundwater. Comment number 3 is about the soil survey. Again, this is soils in the disposal area are mapped as Raritan silt loam, and they are also classified as having severe constraints for septic system construction due to seasonal high water table, which we did find. So in this case, we agree with that. We found those results, our results, to be consistent with what the soil survey indicates. And again, the system has been designed to account for that, to provide the minimum required vertical separation between the highest groundwater and the level of infiltration. And we are utilizing the advanced treatment unit. In this case, it's the COCO filters, the EcoFlow COCO filters, to help keep the height of the mound down. Comment number 4 on page 2 talks about wet season monitoring. We're requesting a waiver for that requirement again as well. Again, I don't know how much higher the groundwater could come up in this case, but the systems have been designed to accommodate that and provide the minimum separation. Comment number 5 is about any areas regulated by DEP, and so that includes wetlands, flood hazard, riparian zones, and there's none of those areas within the project areas for these systems here. Comment number 6 is a typographical error on our plans, which we will correct. Comment number 7 says the water service lines should be shown on the plans, and provisions made to sleeve either the connecting lines or the water lines where the minimum separation distances cannot be maintained. We agree with that. It appears that there may be a spot where the water line from the well to the main house may need to be crossed by the force main line. I don't know that for sure. We'll get it located exactly, but if you draw a straight line from the well to the house, it looks like it's going to cross somewhere. So the comment is a good comment to just make sure that we provide typically a sleeve that extends 10 feet beyond each edge of where that crossing would occur, just as a separation barrier between the force main line and the sewer and the water line. Comment number 8 is just, again, a comment about adding some volume to the pump calcs, for the dose volume, to make sure that we have a suitable dose volume, and we'll do that also. Comment number 9, would like to have the dimension on the shown that requires a 25-foot minimum separation between the house and the septic tank. Agree with that. Sometimes those things get moved and relocated, and it's a good reminder to have that on the plans for the contractor so that they'll know what that separation distance is. Number 10 says a copy of the approval from the Soil Conservation District should be provided. We will. As soon as we get that, we'll submit that to them. And then, of course, a deed notice is required for any system that uses an advanced treatment unit, and that has to be provided before any final approvals are issued. So our client is fully aware of that. We've discussed that with them also, so we'll get that provided over. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
They gave us some excellent background. We do have one waiver. I can understand granting a waiver. I'm sorry, application. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. The items are taken care of, so look at the board members who may have questions and comments. I have no further questions.
I just have a question. Are numbers 2 and 4 waiver mentioned in both.
No, we don't have to. Months required, all we can put in that. Let's see,
So they're separate.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
Okay, let's start with number 2, it's the first waiver. That's the sort of findings. So, with the testing and the requirements from the state. Reasons have been stated. I personally think we should grant a waiver for the exception. Even out of one. Right. And then the other waiver, the second waiver, would be item 4, review of it. We've already discussed that. I see no need to insist on what the done what results in this particular application. Motion to grant a waiver for that. Motion? Aye. And then finally, we need a motion to approve the application. Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, Steve. Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
It's good to see everyone. Enjoy your night. Hopefully you get home early.
We're trying. Moving on to resolutions. The first one being Burnt Mills Road, lot 52, lot 3, that's the Red Oak Farms. I've read Tim's resolution, and I find it covers everything that I remember in the last meeting. And I have no additions or corrections. Does anyone have a comment or a correction to the resolution? If not, let's have a motion for approval. Motion?
Right?
We're moving on to the second resolution, which will be Keith Barkley. This is lot 62, lot 18 on Clerk Oak Road. And I've read Tim's resolution, and very well done. I have no additions or corrections. Does anyone have a comment? In which case, need a motion for approval. Aye. Moving into the minutes from the September meeting, September 21st.
I do have one correction. Eight one.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's major. So I don't know what we're going to do about this.
So I will make that correction.
I read it over. Boy, there's a lot of work. You really outdid yourself on these minutes. You did a good job. I have no, other than you did a good job, I have suggest a motion for approval with that one correction. Second. Okay, moving on to Somerset County, and we have Mike Smerrick.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, you're fine. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Not entirely too much on my end for in the way of reporting. Just in based on the report I gave last month, it's a lot of status quo. I know that Janine had been working with Amanda from my office to schedule a flu clinic. I believe that is tentatively scheduled for November 1st at the firehouse. I don't want to say that that's 100%. I believe it is, but we just need to do a walkthrough of the site and make sure that we have that all sketched out and no logistical problems. But we've used that space before in the past, so I don't anticipate that being an issue.
Today, and you're going to be you should have no issues at all for November 1st from 2 to 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, I didn't know if Janine, I don't know if that was you. I don't know if I couldn't really make out what was being said there. So yeah, hopefully that all goes well. Not a whole heck of a lot else to add beyond that. We're still waiting for our first round of COVID shipments to come in. Just it's not so much a problem with paying for it; it's a problem with procurement right now. There's kind of been a mad rush on that vaccine, so we're still waiting for our first shipment. We're awaiting for our request for proposal to be opened next on the 24th. I believe they opened the bids for that. Reason that we had to go out for bid is because anything over $17,500, I believe, needs to go before the governing body, just to make sure we're doing everything fair and abiding by the state rules for procurement and purchasing. So we're hoping that we get the vendor that we want on the 24th so that we can order our larger dose of COVID vaccine so that we can start doing those clinics. We were approved within the last week for some doses from the New Jersey Department of Health. The cool part about those doses is that I believe they're also going to be supplying us with some pediatric doses. We literally don't know if they're going to be supplying us with 10 doses, 100 doses, 1,000. So I don't have that information yet, but we were approved to receive doses from the state Department of Health. Other than that, the only thing to note is I had mentioned at the last meeting that we were hoping that our new database would be installed. We had a technical call with the new vendor. Everything went well. The only problem is that they need the data from us. So there's a couple more hoops to jump through, and I'll keep punting down the road, but hopefully next meeting. Other than that, I don't have anything else unless anyone had any questions.
Mike, on the flu vaccine, do you have the high dose? You offer
I would have to check with Amanda. I don't believe that we do, but I'll double check with Amanda to see if that's the variant that we procured. I don't believe that it is, though.
Okay. Is there anything else you feel we need to hear
Nothing on my end. I don't know if Samira had anything else that she needed to bring before the board, but yeah, nothing else on my end.
I just
Yes,
have about, what were the 8 animal reports?
sorry, you are asking me?
Whoever can answer, yeah.
What was the complaint? Okay, I'm not able to actually, sorry, I'm not able to hear properly. Are you asking about the complaint?
Yes, it said there were 4 that received, but 8 received and 4 investigated.
Okay, court. Okay, so yeah, I actually I had a court appearance for Village Green Neighborhood Association, and their attorney pled guilty this time, and they were willing to pay the fine. And yesterday I went on site. They have removed the roofs of all of their enclosures, and their dumpsters, garbage dumpsters, are like they have been replaced, and now they have dumpsters with lids. Only 1 or 2 of their recycling dumpsters, they are still not replaced, but they are working on that also.
Samara, unfortunately, that's not what Ms. Sperber was asking you. She said that in your report, there was about 8 animal complaints. Could you tell us what that is?
Okay, so yeah, that is actually because if you look onto action, so this is court appearance, investigation, court appearance. So sometimes that comes again and again. So most of it is Village Green. So one is Village Green neighborhood, one is 100. Okay, so the other one is about Kennel, which is operating without license. So I also had to appear in the court for that. Yeah, that is one animal is for that one. And then the one more complaint is about garbage recycling, garbage and debris, and that was also about like dumpsters, and that has also been replaced, like abated. Complaint is abated.
So there's still that are two that are open then, 2 of the complaints, actually.
Okay, so the open one is okay, so this is actually last month. So the one which is open, garbage debris, that has been closed now, because I made this report earlier this month. So that is closed. The first one that is open, because I'm Village Green, because I'm still waiting for their recycling dumpsters to be replaced also. So yeah, I will, as they abate that, I will close that also.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I heard recycling for Village Green. What about the garbage dumpsters?
Yes, you're right. Like, because it says like refuse containers. So I'm also good that it is garbage dumpsters that have been changed. Yeah, I can close that, but I think that if they change the recycle bins also, so that would be better, because they are working on that. So they just have to change them with the ones which have lids. So their recycle bins, they don't have lids now at this point.
But all the other dumpsters in Village Green now
They
have.
have, yeah, they have lids and they're covered.
Actual cans or bins or whatever, not just that wooden roof.
So their dumpsters, yes, they have lids, and the roofs of their enclosures, they have been removed. Now they are able to open the lids and close the lids, because there are.
That's great. Mayor, Dunkin' Donuts, was there a problem of getting the inspection report to them?
Yes, they had. Yeah, so I don't know, because we emailed them the report. I don't know, they were looking for like a paper report, but I have already emailed them the report again. So I think they lost their report somehow, but they requested for that. So I have already emailed them their report.
Okay, are all your reports emailed as opposed to mailed copies? Is there paperwork involved? that you send out or just email?
No, we email them the reports and we give them placard at the time of inspection to post at the establishment. Otherwise, the reports are emailed.
All I have. Anything else for Somerset County? Okay, thank you.
Uh,
What about the back to school nutrition program? Allison is not here, and I'm a little. Is that something it was brought up at the last meeting? Is it something that's ongoing, or somebody give
Yeah,
background on?
I think that had been brought up, probably maybe for discussion it might have not made the August meeting. I forget exactly. Basically, it was just us exploring the board's desire or lack thereof to have a kind of a back to school nutrition thing. We do have a county-wide contract with Rutgers. They have a good nutrition program. Basically, what we could have done is offered maybe I don't know if it was anything in person or we could have offered something virtual in coordination with Rutgers to just explain to families about quick, easy, healthy meals to prep for their students. That was just something that I think we were looking for. Obviously, kids are already back in school, but it doesn't necessarily. I mean, we could rebrand. It doesn't have to be for back to school, but if that was something you guys were interested in, we could look further into it.
Okay, so it can be done in November or December.
Hmm?
I have Allison back to comment on it, because honestly, I'm not that knowledgeable about it, but I understand that it's instruction given to aid in nutrition in schools, so that I think we put it on the tracking. If you lose the name.
And Mr. Chairman, this was actually inspired by Berners Township Board of Health holding a
Right,
program.
I remember that.
And I reached out to them on the instruction of the board to see how their program went. I think they attracted, Janine, you recall about 24?
17.
17, thank you. You got the exact number, folks. So it was attended, but not necessarily well attended. But we thought perhaps it might be something, given the fact that the county has a similar program, that the board could potentially host.
And was that program live, not like a Zoom program?
It was live, correct,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, if you rebranded it, you could also rebrand it for a holiday nutrition type thing if you think it's worthwhile.
Right. Yep.
Vernon's Township, I think, has a program like that. They have a nutritionist.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, we'll talk about it in November. What else?
Very good.
Cancer cure, breast cancer, that's been in the past, right? I mean, it's already.
Yeah, I didn't have
Yeah.
anybody get back to me about going to the farmer's market, so I just
Right.
put the items that we had at the township tent, and I'm sure that
We've had them out every Saturday.
right, so I'm sure everything got handed out. And I'm sorry, Mike, if you didn't hear me before, I spoke with Amanda and the fire chief earlier today, and we are going to meet at the firehouse next Thursday morning. So everything for the flu clinic is a go.
Okay, very good. Yeah, now I hear you loud and clear. So yep, that's makes sense to me. That's about what I heard. So it sounds good to me.
Okay. Looking at the correspondence, several engineering letters went out from Joe's office. And, I don't think we need to look at or discuss those. That's about it at the end of the agenda. Anybody have anything else? Tim?
It's still fun.
Joe?
Status quo.
Okay. In which case, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
All in favor?
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Take that back. I know I'm late. I know I'm late. I apologize. When we walk in here, we sometimes get a whiff of something that's,
Out there tonight.
yeah, it's out there tonight. When the air condenses, there's a little
Yeah.
problem.
I don't even
However, the
think it's
good news is
condensed
that it'll never be totally corrected, but it should be a lot better because we are getting a new pumping transfer station. And it's pretty exciting. I attended a meeting that covered this, and there's been a lot of work done. And I think Colin and everybody in the township has worked on it, but I just want to very briefly mention that we had support and funding from Somerset County in the amount of $1,470,000. We got funding from federal, Molinowski fund, $1,176,000. That's a total of $2,646,000. The numbers are so big that we got a lot of funding, and the three townships share in the cost of anything remaining, and there'll be some remaining. What we need to do is provide $73,735 into the project, and we'll have a new pumping station. We'll have a completely new system. Everything will be modern. Retention time in the holding tank, I believe, will be much reduced. This system, as soon as sewage comes in to the system, that tank outside the window, it's held no longer than 20 minutes, and the system will pump it out. It's a very short retention time. It keeps the sewage moving, which hopefully will decrease the odor. Nobody can guarantee that, but I'm willing to bet it's going to be a lot better. So my thanks to this Township, Bedminster, for getting grants like this is amazing. They work for everybody. I thank everyone who worked on it. Oh, and there's if anybody would like to see, there's a schedule of when all this is going to happen. It starts, well, Colin, why don't you tell us?
No, go ahead. You probably have more up to date than I do, because I know the engineering is in
I've got
progress.
It's going to start very quickly.
Yeah.
Going into the end of the year and the next. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I saw it there too.
More than you want to know. Okay, the meeting is adjourned.
Yay!
Thank you.
Second.
Now, when is it next?